We're sitting at the farmer's market today on, Sunday. It is so freaking stinking hot here. Occasional breeze, which is extremely grateful. I'm grateful for. But I was like, let's bring the camera this time and see if we can film like kind of what we're doing here. And I had a good person sit down, and she agreed to be filmed, and she's down for it. So that's what we're gonna go over. I kind of wanted to show you guys like kind of what we're doing, I guess you would say, when we come to these events. I took a quick video of what the event looks like, and we'll have that edited in. So stay tuned, and if you have any other ideas or questions about like this community service style of thing, get down in the comments. All right, guys, I'll see you soon.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
Tell me what you got.
Okay, so I have a 2021 Bronco Sport Outer Banks.
Okay.
It's got like 70-ish thousand miles on it. I've never had a problem with it. I've never done anything since I got it. I got it at like 20,000 miles-ish.
All right.
We drove back to my parents in Minnesota. So we took my Bronco. We've done that before, back and forth. But this time, when we were coming back through the mountains, I got like a wrench symbol, and we couldn't figure out what it was in the user's manual. And then the check engine light came on, and we were like, "Oh, okay." So we stopped. We stopped, stayed in a hotel, went to the Ford dealership the next day, and they're like, "Oh, it's your turbo. Like, you'll be fine if you can limp it home," because it would go into like a limp mode, and it wouldn't let you accelerate.
Okay.
And then they're like, "You'll be fine. You can just make it home." Well, we made it home like the next day. It didn't give us any problems, and that was like Monday, and we still haven't taken it in. It still hasn't given us the wrench or the check engine light. Like, do I have to take it in?
I would suggest it. So when the wrench symbol came on, I want to make sure that it might be certain cars use a wrench symbol to let you know that it's due for maintenance. Okay.
Yeah, because we had just given it an oil change too. Yeah.
Well, the problem is if the oil change was done, especially at a quick lube place, they're probably not going to reset the mileage or the time interval.
Okay.
So even though like you could have the oil change done, and then like the next day the wrench could come on for an oil service, but I just want to get a picture. And
they gave us like a code. It was like P200 or P220, something like that.
So I want to make sure if you have a check engine light and a wrench symbol, they may or may not be related.
Oh,
okay. The wrench symbol is on the dash, like in the instrument cluster. Okay, was it in the center, or does it have its own separate light?
It was in the center at first. Well, it popped up, and it was like you had to hit OK to make it go away.
Okay.
Like it popped up like a notification, and then it stayed in the corner.
All right, I'm going to look this up real quick. So let me ask you, when you were coming back from Michigan, you said? Minnesota?
Yeah.
When it happened, were you going up a hill for an extended period of time?
We were almost through the mountains.
Okay, so were you pushing it harder? You weren't cruising on flat ground, right?
No.
Okay. And did you notice anything at all before the check engine light turned on? All of a sudden the light turned on and then you lost power?
Yeah, the light turned, the wrench came on, and then we were like, oh, what does that mean? So then I sent my husband to look through the owner's manual because it said see owner's manual.
Okay.
We looked through, and then it entered limp mode, and we were like, oh shit. So we pulled over, shut it off, let it breathe a few minutes, turned it back on, and then that's when the check engine light came on.
Okay.
And then we were like, oh shoot. And then it was doing the limp mode thing where like when you tried to accelerate it, it was like it was in eco mode. It wouldn't accelerate very much.
Yeah, it probably it's more than likely what happened is that there's a problem with boost. Okay, I want to look at that fault code, but it's pretty indicative. I have no reason to think it's not like turbocharger related,
Okay.
So if there's a deviation from what's being desired and what the actual boost pressure is, it can put it into a limp mode, and basically it can control boost to the turbos and turn them off.
Okay.
essentially,
Yeah.
in a way. Okay. So you had wrench symbol and it said C manual. Okay, that's what I thought. So it's going to be the predecessor to the check engine light, probably. Do you remember what fault they gave you? A P something?
P2 something something. They said it was a turbo. They quoted us like $3,000 to fix it, and then they're like, "But you can make it home on it because we had two turbo. We have two turbos in the Bronco Sport."
Okay, there's a bunch of different things that can cause the turbocharger not to have the correct boost pressure. Could absolutely need a turbocharger. Okay, it could also have a control system fault where it's not controlling the desired and actual boost pressure isn't accurate, and when that happens, it kind of wigs out and it wants to protect itself from grenading, so it will shut them off. If you haven't had a problem since, there is a chance that there's an intermittent problem with the turbocharger not working properly. If the light is gone, did they clear the light for you? Mm-hmm. They didn't, so it went off on its own. Mm-hmm. So what I would say to that is I want you to keep it in the back of your mind, and I would plan for it needing a turbocharger, okay? Just because it's probably the most expensive thing that it can be that caused the problem. Okay. The engine works really hard when you're trying to go up hills, especially for long periods of time, and it's demanding a lot of boost to do that. And your everyday driving, if you drive like real slow and easy on it, it may never be worked hard enough, and that at that point in time it was like, oof.
Yeah.
You know, but you made that trip before, so but that was less mileage, right? You know, I've seen them go bad. Now that Bronco has a 4-cylinder engine in it, though, right?
I have no idea, to be honest with you. I have an app that tells me everything about it.
What's your license plate? Do you know that?
Yeah, I have a picture of it. I have a picture of that and my VIN, whichever's easier for you.
License. I can pull your VIN up by your license plate.
Okay. It is.
Yeah, it's got the 1.5 4-cylinder. So you also have a recall right now. You have a recall open for a PCM software update. It could be. I'm going to look up this recall real quick for you, and I will tell you what that software update is designed to fix.
I did see something about a backup camera a while ago.
Well, if it's a safety recall, it could be. High pressure fuel injector can crack and leak fuel, posing a significant underboost or underhood fire. So you want to get that done.
Okay.
Now it's a software update, so why would they do a software update for a cracking fuel injector? I don't know. It's only 694,000 of the cars that are affected by the recall.
Oh, only.
So that's a lot of them. Let me pull up this. I'm gonna see if I don't think it's going to be an underboost issue. I'm looking at our letter right now from the National Highway Safety, Traffic Safety, and yeah, I don't think that's going to be related. It says software update and on Carfax when I find that, but that's not. I don't know why it would be a software update. When I type that number in, it's telling me a cracked fuel injector issue. So either way, I do want you to go get that thing into Ford, and you got two choices here. You can let them do the recall and be done with it. But if you want them to give you a second opinion on the turbocharger, you can, but it sounds like it's an intermittent problem, and it may be hard for them to replicate it, and they may not find a darn thing wrong with it if it's running absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Now, there are certain tests that can be done, I'm sure. If we follow the service information in Ford, it might actually say this, this, and this, and then might be able to still go through the testing procedure for it. I don't know what they're going to do, right, and how they're going to approach it. I know in my shop, when we have a fault like that, we will do research on that fault, and we will go down through the systems and the process that Ford has to go after that fault. What I would like to do, if you mention it to them, they absolutely are going to charge an evaluation fee, which is the right thing to do. But without having it there, you might be wasting $200, right?
Yeah.
So it might have to be more often. I would probably wait until it happens one more time.
Okay.
What I would like you to do is when it happens, I want you to try to figure out when it happens and how you're driving the car. That way you can replicate it again.
Okay.
So if you were to clear the fault, or if you shut the car off and turn it back on, it may get out of limp mode. All right. And if you were to do that and drive it again, if you can consistently get it into going to limp mode, then that would be like a really good thing to do to bring it to a shop to be able to do that.
Okay.
Now, I'm not going to lie. Like, we can go after this car, but I promise you, well, I can't promise it, but I probably, in my shop, we would probably be more expensive than the dealer on this repair because I'm only going to be putting a Ford part on this car. And by the time that we apply like our markup on the parts that we need to do to stay profitable, we may be more expensive. I don't know that, right? But on this particular one, going to the dealer for this repair probably would be a good idea. But we can take a look at it too. I mean, I'm not trying to steer you wrong. I just know that, you know, for our testing, we would start at the 170 and then we would go after after it. Now, if we find out that the test procedure is like multiple pages long and we want to kind of isolate each one of these things so we can come down to the root cause of the problem, sometimes the testing fee will go up. We would call you to tell you, and that's okay too. No one's trying to get you to spend more money because they want more money. It's like the time has to be covered. And the end result is on an intermittent problem like that, it might be hard. So they might have to do further testing to try to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised to go down to probably 1 to 3 hours tops probably for an underboost problem. But most of them can be found usually within like the standard 1 hour time frame. But if we have to like disassemble stuff and stick cameras down inside, look at the wastegate, look at the turbocharger impeller, and these kind of things, that's when like when you get disassembly involved, that's when it takes more time to do that. So a proper evaluation will probably run you between say $200 and $400, more than likely. But again, you kind of want it to be bad when you bring it in.
Yeah, okay, I get that.
Does that help?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, not a dumb question at all.
I don't know. I feel like I should have known the answer, but
No.
I mean, we figured it was a problem, like you said, we would turn it off and then turn it back on, and it would be fine. We'd start to go up the mountain, and then eventually go back in the. So that's why I was like, we're stopping for the night. We need to get it looked at because I don't want to get stranded in the mountains,
Yeah,
We stopped, we got it looked at, but yeah, it was like $160 for them to be like, you need a new turbo, and that was about the extent of it. We were like, well, I can't fork up $3,000 and wait 2 days in the mountains for the part to show up. I have to get home. So they were like, you guys can get home, but get it looked at later. If we would come and ask you.
Yeah, it's they're supposed to be the expert, right? I'm not saying they're not the expert, but I promise you they've worked on a whole lot more Bronco sports than I have, right?
Yeah.
So there's one of the advantages of being a dealer technician is that you have a whole lot more experience and repetitive failure, and there's value in that, right? Sometimes it's hard for those guys to like get down to do actual real testing and stuff because a lot of the dealers don't really support a lot of training. But I'm not saying that's what's happened. I would still think that they would be a really good option for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, if you're local to here, I like Lafayette Ford a little bit more than Liberty.
Okay.
We've only
been there
done
before.
Yeah.
I forced her to get her brakes changed. So we've been through the.
oops.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a good spot to be. I would like you to schedule an appointment for the recall because it's a major safety issue. You don't want your truck burning down to the ground, right? So I would try to get that taken care of, and then there's not a lot of hills around here. right? But if you drive it hard, give it the beans, right? And if you get it to go into limp mode, then you can replicate the fault and be like, when I'm at full throttle,
there is a problem.
yes, and it'll kick it down. Like then it'd be like, okay, then we can find it, right? So that system is not that hard. There's probably like there's a wastegate actuator, there's a wastegate, then there's the turbocharger. So a standard eval should come down to the right cause of the problem. What I don't like, did you get any paperwork showing what tests were done, or they just said needs turbo? That's the part that kills me.
Yeah, they gave us just a piece of paper that said
It's like, this is the
recommended
fault.
to customer,
Yeah.
needs new turbo. Paid.
See, that's aggravating for me as like a business owner. Like we're trying to do a way better service to the customer. Like, yeah, we tend to be more expensive than a lot of other shops in the area, but when you see like what we're documenting and what you're actually paying for with real testing and say, this is what we found, this, and this, and I got pictures and videos of everything, it's like, oh, okay. A lot of times people are like, they're willing to, and much more willing to spend the money to get that type of service. And
It can
it,
show us the work you're doing.
Yeah.
For sure.
and it kills me that you paid $160 and it just says needs turbo. Like,
That's
What?
I mean, essentially that's all it said.
yeah.
Customer complained about check engine light, maintenance wrench light. Recommended to customer, new turbo, and then stamped, paid $160. I was like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah. Now, and the thing is, like, you may have been willing to pay $360 if you had a whole list. Like, we checked this.
They showed us what the deal was.
Yeah.
You know?
So, but yeah, that's kind of aggravating. And unfortunately, I can't fix other people's businesses, right? I can only try to fix what I can do in mine. You know, I'm not saying they did a bad job. It could absolutely need a turbocharger, 100%, right? But I'd just like to see some kind of documentation of why.
Yeah.
So, especially when it's intermittent like that. So, yeah.
It's definitely had its fair share of cross-country drives. That was just the first time it's had an issue.
If it happens again and you don't want it to keep happening, like let's say you're driving to Minnesota, right? And you're, it's happening, you turn the key off and turn it back on, it might reset the limp mode, was what I think you said they did that, right? Mm-hmm. If you were to drive it easier and let the boost, does your Bronco have a boost gauge in it?
It's got like an eco boost, like on the goat mode thing.
No, you might be able to select something in the cluster to where you can watch boost pressure.
Yeah.
If you keep the boost level down, you might be able to keep it from going into limp mode.
Okay.
All right, maybe.
Maybe.
I'll look and see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put the hubby on it.
All right. Well, sounds good. Is there anything else I can help you with?
That's all I have. Yeah, I was like,
That is the question.
All right.
I just didn't understand.
Help yourself to an air freshener, bottle opener, multi-tool, or towel. Oh yeah.
I don't know what they want.
I don't know.
You can pick one.
Yeah.
Ooh, it feels like a surprise.
Thank you for participating in the thing. So this is the farmers market event. You can see here. There's vendors everywhere. Face painting. Talk to them and might get some more ink coming up. That's the whiskey distillery, and then over here is the brewery. Live music, beer station, kids playground. Like, this place is really good. They got food trucks here. Water ice, which down in the south, man, water ice is like, what's that? You know? So being up from Philly, man, we miss Rita's. It's a really nice thing to do. Water ice when it's 100 degrees outside. I think the heat index right now is 107. And then we have a dog park over here. So this is a really good event. I'm grateful that they allowed us to come in here and not sell anything, just do straight up community service. Now, you know, the ROI for me is just helping people, but the big one, I mean, a nice aspect of it is like, do this and then you might get some customers out of it. And we had one person stop by that's been looking at us online and driving by, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna go bring my car there, and he sees us here and he sat down and talked, and he's like, I want to bring my car here. So it does help. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I mean, I do want brand recognition by all means. But it's something really nice to do. So, all right, talk to you guys soon. Well, first of all, what's your name?
I'm Mike.
Josh.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. All right, Mike. You have a Honda Accord with an AC problem, right?
It's a 2006 Honda Accord with I believe it's the V6,
Okay.
3.0 liter,
Yeah.
whatever the V6 is, and the AC is out.
All right.
It was intermittent for a while,
Hmm.
and now it's completely out. I suspect the problem is in the clutch or the compressor itself.
Okay.
And the reason I haven't torn into it is just because I don't want to have to reclaim all of that coolant. And
Yeah. Well, a lot of times what happens, people will evacuate to the atmosphere, which is illegal, but people do it all the time. As a shop owner, I can get fined like 10 grand for that. So that's like, you can evacuate that, but then the next problem is how do you fill it properly? And so like, I understand you don't want to get into that because you really should be putting a vacuum on the system to get all the air out so it's empty, and then you would fill it with refrigerant. So let's intermittent. When did you start experiencing intermittent issues?
it was intermittent for a few months. And the AC's been out completely for a few months now, but now that it's getting warm, it's a problem. So
Okay, so if you had intermittent, when it was working, was it cold?
cold-ish.
Coldish. Would you drive it for a while and then it stopped working, or like it could work for a few days and then it wouldn't work for a few days, or it's intermittent as in like during my 1 hour commute it would come on and go off?
It was intermittent in like a 15-minute commute, and the car doesn't go much further than that.
Okay. So when the system's low on charge or overfilled, it can cause like very weird things to happen in the evaporator. And if that car has an evaporator temp sensor on it, which I don't think that one does, it can shut the AC off on purpose so it doesn't freeze the evaporator. If it's low on charge, it can be intermittent, especially with if it has a low pressure switch in it that keeps it from grenading the compressor. Okay. But normally pressures would rise as you drive, not get lower, right? So the first step, how we would approach this in my shop would be we would bring it in for an evaluation, and the first step of the evaluation is to do a visual inspection of the system, and then there may be dye in the system already because the car's so old. Somebody has probably put dye in it at some point in time. We would do a visual inspection with a UV light, and we would look for any kind of dye residue in the system. We also have like a really expensive sniffer that is made to detect 134 and 1234 refrigerant, and we would run that inside the car, checking to make sure you don't have a bad evaporator. And then we would check the lines and the expansion valve. The expansion valve on that car is probably inside the car, but we would check the lines from what we can see that's exposed out, check the service ports to see if they're leaking, and then we would check the condenser as well. And that would be, and the compressor. The shaft seal can leak on Hondas, and it's down, it's kind of hidden, it's kind of hard to like get to that, but the sniffer should probably pick it up. Picks up like parts per million, like way down, right? We would also check for, make sure that the ECM is allowing it to turn on. Because I believe on that car I can see whether or not the ECM is permitting the AC to turn on from the control head. If it has automatic climate control, I can probably talk to that as well with the scanner. And we would try to do like all faults and live data analysis that we can. So, if it's low on charge entirely, now it could not be turning on at all. You could have two separate problems. You could have an intermittent problem. The AC was working and now it's not. So you might have two problems, and part of our analysis is to extract the refrigerant, weigh it. It's probably low, like you and I probably agree to that, right? And then we would fill it with what it's supposed to be in there capacity wise. Then we would check for the integrity of the system to see what it's actually vent temping at. And we want to see a minimum of 30-degree difference in temperature, but usually we can get better than that. Anything like 45 degrees and lower, I'm like, that's good. At 50, I'm like, it's acceptable in certain cars. but normally we can get down to 45 and below. A lot of times we get down into the 30s. But so we would do that process, verify what we got going on. Now, because it's a 134 system, let's say it's low on charge. We have a pretty good success rate of finding the leak while it's there for the normal service. We usually don't try to suggest nitrogen, like high pressure nitrogen testing, but that's another option we have, is to fill it with dry gas nitrogen, and then we would look for a leak that way and pump the pressures up to about 200, which is still safe for the system. And then we would spray it down with like basically soap, right? Soapy water. It's made for refrigerant. It's called Big Blue. We would use that on like the joints, what we can see, and then we can see it bubble. It'll pick up microscopic leaks. But normally we don't have to go into nitrogen testing. The service, like the service that we do this time, it includes a free recheck if we get it working while it's there, to bring it back in, and we would complete the exact same service again, which is $265 or $270, I think, is what we charge for an AC service, because we're not just putting refrigerant in it and sending it on your way. That is a fallback, like with the dye in the system. But when we look at it for free again, it's basically you're getting a service again for nothing. So if it's a clutch problem, that service also includes like minor electrical testing on the compressor clutch, powers and grounds, which is only going to be a power wire on that car. And then we also want to check the condenser fan operation as well. So it's a full system analysis, not just squirt it, send you on your way. Because if it's low, it's got a leak, and we want to find the leak and try to do the repair. We would give you estimates for repair, whatever we found. You know, it's usually unlikely we have to get into further testing, but that's kind of how that would work. You know, depending on like if we have to get into further testing, it would come at additional cost, but we would always talk to you about that and give you options whether or not you want to proceed or not. So if it's turning on intermittently, was turning on intermittently, and now it's not, the first step is to, well, we have to see, is it being commanded? Do we have power and ground at the compressor? If we do, then we know that the compressor, and it's not turning on, we know the compressor's bad, usually the clutch. Now on Hondas, you can replace the clutch on a Honda and not replace the compressor, all right? But in my shop, from experience, we would put an entire compressor on it, right? I do not want to be messing with doing a clutch and setting the magnetic clutch, the gap on the clutch. Now, if you want to do that yourself, you can, and you wouldn't have to get into the system, right? But I have a feeling we're low, which is why we extract it, weigh it, and then we charge it with its full pressure to make sure it turns on. Now, what I can't do, let's say it is low on charge because we found out because we evacuated it, and the compressor's not working. I can't test the actual true integrity of the system because the compressor's not working. What we try to do is get you all of the answers up front so you know what you're getting into. Because what I don't want to do is put a compressor on it for, I don't know, $1,200 or something, and then find out, oh yeah, by the way, it also has a leak at the condenser, and that's another, you know, $800. And then, you know, like, we try to give as much information up front. But if you want to try to tackle it yourself, the clutch is 100% capable without having to go into the AC. And an intermittent problem, if the magnetic clutch, you have to check it with feeler gauges, right? If the clutch is too far away, it can intermittently pull in and work. So that could be the problem, right? It's unlikely now, but if you look at the clutch, you said you already checked the relay and stuff. You know the relay's working. When if you were,
Well, I replaced it with a known good relay,
okay,
and the problem was persistent. So I assumed that it wasn't the relay.
yeah, that's a good assumption, right? That's how, like, we would do the same thing. Okay, off of that relay, there's going to be a fuse as well. I think it's only like a 15 amp fuse on that car. It's not much. You can, with a test light, and you turn the AC on, you can see if that fuse has power on both sides of the fuse. If one side of the fuse has power, like probing on the back side, are you familiar with checking a fuse that way?
I'd have to know what the fuse looks like. There's a lot of different styles.
There
and
is.
variations.
On that particular car, it's probably just a regular ATC blade fuse that just plugs in, just pushes in. And on the back side of that fuse, there'll be a tiny little part of aluminum You can take your test light and touch on that, and then if there's power on one side and not power on the other side, that means the fuse is blown. You can also just pull it out and look at it. It's extremely rare for them not to blow in an obvious way. Like you can see that, right? If the fuse is blown, if you put a fuse in it, it might turn the AC on, but it blew for a reason. And it could be a worn clutch. It could be a wiring problem where the wire's getting chafed and it's short in the ground, that kind of thing. Again, it's unlikely because it was an intermittent problem before. If the fuse is blown, it's not going to be an intermittent problem. Once it blows, it's done. So checking the relay like you did is a great step. You want to try to find that if you undo that fuse cover on top underneath the hood, there should be labeled which one's the AC, and then you would find that fuse and test that fuse with a test light. A normal standard test light. If you don't have one, you don't have to buy one. Just pull the fuse out and look at it, and that'll probably tell you more than likely if the fuse is bad, right? So you could do that. The other thing you would need a test light for this one or a multimeter. You would go down to the AC compressor. Sometimes those wires on that Honda, the wire for the compressor is probably clipped onto the radiator support, and it's probably only has one wire because the ground side for the clutch bolts to the compressor, I think, on that car. So if you were to take that one wire plug off that goes to the compressor, take that off and put your test light on that with the AC running, and the test light lights up with the AC on, that tells you have power going down to the compressor, all right? I would much rather you use a test light than a multimeter because it pulls some load. In my shop, we would test that with the halogen test lamp because it pulls like 4 amps, which is pretty close to what that coil would pull. I want to make sure that wire is capable of handling 4 amps of current. Like if your wire is this thick and you have 100 strands of copper through here, right? And 99 strands of that copper are splayed out, broken, and you have one strand of copper, tiny little wire the size of your hair, it will still probably allow that light to light up, but it will never handle like 6 amps of current for that coil. And that's when the test light or a multimeter will kind of lie to you that says you have power there, but you might have power or voltage there, but not enough to carry the current.
Wouldn't the multimeter give you a more accurate reading? Wouldn't it tell you if you're losing some of your...
It can, but it has to be live to do that, right? So if you have this wire, let's say this wire is connected to the battery. This is my battery now, and I have this wire connected to the battery. If I disconnect it off the AC compressor that's bolted to this, if I disconnect that, now my wire's sitting here. This wire is the same potential as what this battery thing is. So there's no current being moved through the circuit.
But it's still waiting at the end of that wire,
it's waiting
ready to go.
Your multimeter will read that, but there's no current actually moving. So that one little strand of 99 strands of bad and one strand of good, it'll still have battery voltage, 12.6 volts on it. Mm-hmm. But as soon as you try to shove any kind of current through that, it won't do it. So that's why doing we call it voltage drop testing. That's where voltage drop testing is so much more beneficial than using a multimeter. Multimeter is good, but you can get a better reading. You can get a great reading if you take the multimeter and while it's connected to the compressor and back probe the wire, because that's like you're doing a live circuit. So now you know it can handle, because it actually has battery voltage or 14 volts while it's running to the compressor. You know that like I have real power there because it's actually trying to flow all of that current through the compressor to the clutch. So multimeters are good for certain things. Test lights are good for certain things. Halogen test lamps or load testing is the answer pretty much always, because you're doing it live-ish. You're actually trying to flow current. So you probably have low refrigerant, right? It's more than likely what it is, okay? And if it's low, that means it's got a leak somewhere. And that's where you would want to go after the leak. Because it's 134 and because I offer a free retest with dye, if we can't find the leak while it's there, we offer, let's say we do find the leak while it's there and we have a bad condenser, but that's the only leak that I found, I give you in that. But let's say there's a secondary leak coming from the service port and we missed it, or you have a secondary leak that happens. If it goes flat within this year, you can bring it back to me and I'll check it again for free, which is another $270 value that we're gonna, we back our work. And if we miss something, so be it. If we didn't miss it, I'm still gonna goodwill the evaluation charge again, to give you answers on what may or may not be working.
So I could bring you the car in 265. You'll give me a good idea of what's going on with that.
Yeah, I'll give you as much information as I can, depending on the severity of your car.
But based on certain problems you find, you may be able to tell me whether or not those are all the problems that exist, but you may not, depending on where the problem lies.
Exactly. Right. So that's kind of how that works. Now that includes 1 pound of refrigerant. Let's say that your system is completely empty. That car might hold like 1.5 pounds. A pound of 134 from our shop is $30 a pound. So it's not like a drastic difference in price. If you had a newer car with 1234 YF, that's when it changes drastically. Like that refrigerant is 47 cents a gram, and a system can hold like 900
drugs.
kilograms. Yeah. Yeah. I see you wearing a head shop shirt. But yeah, it's like
not
you sell
like
it-
weed, but it is like drugs.
So yeah, it's selling it by the gram because this stuff is so expensive, you know, and it's like people understand and they don't, but a lot of shops aren't even investing in that new style of refrigerant because the machine is like anywhere from $6,000 to $8,000 just for the recovery machine to be able to recycle the refrigerant.
Gotcha.
And there's a whole nother process. That's when you get into nitrogen testing because we want to find that leak because the refrigerant is so expensive. I want to tell you what's wrong, but the nitrogen testing does come an additional cost for the newer cars. We can still do that for 134. It's not an issue. It's just it's another $200 charge, and since I'm doing a free retest anyway, I don't really see it being that necessary when the refrigerant is only $30 a pound versus the other one. It's like expensive.
Okay, so the discount that you're giving me for doing this interview, is that only on the 265 test, or would it be on the repair?
You do whatever you want. I don't even know what's in there, to be honest. You can open it up.
Oh, it's a surprise.
Yeah, I don't even know what it is.
Shit, that's cool.
They were labeled before as green and yellow and other things like that because we were doing games up here. We had a Connect 4 game that we would run through, and if you won, you would get a gift certificate.
$50 off. So
$50. Was there a limit? I think it had to be spending
over $250, but
yeah, that's
but
a
that
healthy
makes
discount.
$265 to $215. I can do
Yeah.
the math.
Yeah, so that's good.
Shit, that's pretty cool.
Your AC problem, it sounds like it's a pretty standard issue. It's either way, like our evaluation process is not just putting refrigerant in it. So like if you brought that bike if you brought the car to us, we would go through the entire system as much as possible. If the compressor's not turning on and I can't get it to turn on, I might not be able to check the rest of the system, right? So that's where it's like you said, I may be able to give you all the answers or I may not, depending on what we see. And it may be like a process or like we got to do it in stages or steps or something.
What would be a good day for me to bring you the car if we were talking about the next
Thursday
2
or
weeks?
Friday.
Thursday of this coming week?
Yeah. You can set up an appointment if you choose to use this. You can set up an appointment online or you can give us a call at the shop.
Can I set one up with you now?
Yeah.
And I could bring it to you on Thursday and we could do this diagnostic test and figure out where to go, because saving $50 is worth it.
Okay, I got Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday open. What day would work best
Thursday.
for you? Okay, so we're going to need the car for the day.
Okay.
I have to have it before no later than 9 a.m. I prefer to have the car dropped off Wednesday.
Evening?
Yeah, evening. We'll get the appointment set up now, so once you approve it, you can drop your keys in the night drop box and we can get started on it, get it checked in the morning, check it on it first thing in the morning.
We're gonna drop the car off on Wednesday with him, and he's gonna have it Thursday to run all the diagnostic tests we need.
Mike, right?
Mike.
What's your last name, Mike? So you found us from here. You have no idea from where we were?
You know what? I've seen your All OK tabs
Okay.
before in town somewhere, but I don't know where.
That's
They're
pretty
on
cool.
Camden Road.
That's why.
between Owen and Fort Mills Road.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, here you go. Get some goodies.
Yes, please.
Ooh.
You prefer phone call, text, or email?
Text.
All right. And we're doing an AC evaluation, right?
Please.
Now, what we're also going to do, we are going to look over the rest of the car for you.
Okay.
Hey, so I didn't say it the other day. Because my check engine light came on Thursday.
He's gonna check that on Thursday.
So what we're going to do when you bring a car to us, we're going to do a full we're gonna do a full code scan on the car, okay? And then we're also gonna look over the entire car, check your lights, wipers, horn, fluid levels, tires, brakes, the steering and suspension, ball joints, the exhaust, any leaks, that kind of stuff. Consider it, we call it a courtesy health checkup. Consider it a peace of mind inspection. All right. Now, what I'm going to do for this one, for your courtesy health checkup, I'm going to put a note in here. And I can't for some reason. Oh, my tech is signed in on this. I'll put a note up here. What we're going to do, once we get a fault scan, we'll give you an idea if we have to do testing, and then give you an estimate to move forward if you want to do any testing on that.
Okay.
So I can't like tell you why the check engine light's on more than likely until we do like, we're not the shop to check a fault and say this is what part you need. We actually have to do testing and evaluate like why it's doing that. We're not the same thing as AutoZone, right? So okay, we have a AC evaluation. I'm just gonna put a note in here. I'm gonna share this work order with you via text. I need you to approve the work order, and then once that's approved, that kind of locks in your appointment. So it's set up for Thursday. We will do the AC eval and get you some answers on that, and we'll kind of go from there.
Right on, man.
Sound good?
I've got your...
All right, thanks, dude.
Man, it was good meeting you.
You too, Mike. And what was your name again?
Danielle.
Danielle. All right, thanks, Danielle.
It's nice meeting you all.
Nice chat.
Thanks for the chat, man. That was good.